Assalamualaikum and greetings to everyone. We are from Group 5 and today we want to present about corruption among the leaders of a country. But before that, let me introduce our member. First, my name is NRL.Afiqah binti SALAMA, and the other member, NURUL SYAZWANIEY binti HASLIZAU, NABILAH binti YATIMAN, and lastly, TENGJIAO. Next, I will pass to Nabilah to start the presentation.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nabilah binti Yatiman. My metric number is 205545. So, what is the meaning of corruption? Corruption is synonym with bribery. Bribery is a crime or legal offense when a person obtains freedom, contracts, or privileges from the authorities or a company after giving money, gift, or entertainment to those parties. Generally, bribery is an act of extortion committed by a person with the intention of obtaining for his own benefit. Alright, this is because when going through the usual procedures, he will not obtain his will. This means the power that has been given to him abused and he acts for his own good. They are also more likely to be partial and hypocritical in every action to avoid their action being made public. In Malaysia, in terms of law, all words that mean giving and receiving bribes are part of the criminal act and offence of corruption. The problem of corruption in Malaysia is indeed on the rise. The proof is many cases has been reported involving corruption. Malaysia's position in the Corruption Perception Index (CPI) for 2020 fell to ranking 57 out of 180 countries, from 51 ranking in 2019. It was found that the number of arrests of corruption cases in Malaysia by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) in 2019 showed an increase of 23% compared to. More worrying is when the most of corruption in our country cases are caused by politicians and civil servants. Some politicians use the opportunity to serve the society by accepting and giving bribes to gain power, win election for political office, amass wealth, gain popularity, and so on. Among the prosecution of corruption or abuse of power that have occurred among leaders in Malaysia, for the example, in 2020, Tan Sri Musa Aman as the former Chief Minister of Sabah, he is free from all 46 charges of corruption and money laundering in connection with timber concession contracts in Sabah. Apart from that, former Penang Chief Minister Woo Is Lim Guang Eng will also charged with an offence under Section 60 of the MACC Act 2009 for soliciting bribes involving 6.3 billion Severed Tunnel project in Penang. Alright, there are some various measures to address the system of corruption from continuing to spread. Among them is to use psychological methods by using the philosophy of Suzhou.
Assalamualaikum and greetings to everyone. My name is NrL.Afiqah binti SALAMA, metric number 206152. So my part for this presentation is about the philosophy foundation. As we can see, there have Islamic hadiths that state the corruption is a curse by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And as is mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, and do not consume the wealth of others among you wrongfully, nor offer your property to the judges in order to make consume a portion of the property of mankind in sin while you know it. So, this is clearly show that corruption can be done in various ways, whether intentionally or not. The situation that can be described is that teenagers who often joke or ask their friends for help, such as doing schoolwork and then giving or receiving a gift, but actually they may not realize that action is actually corruption. So apart from that, corruption also often associated with civil servants and politicians. So this is because the community perception that all problems can be solved with money or some gift as the return, and this is why corruption is rampant until now. And if we can remember that our country has been viral about an issues of misappropriation of funds in one Malaysian development Berhad or 1MDB involving several politicians, and the issues still remain as a hot topic until now. Additionally, they also have philosophy that can be related to corruption, which is Sun Tzu philosophy called the art of war. Actually, this philosophy is about a strategy that we use in war, but it also can be used as the strategy to find out the people who have involved in corruption. So they have quote that we highlight by Sun Tzu, which is all wars are based on deception. It means that we need to be wise in controlling the belief and emotions of the opponents or enemy in order to understand their assumptions, and actually it is ability to develop strategy to defeat the enemy. So for example, allowing an enemy or opponent to win a small battle in order to gain their belief that we were weak, and when they are complacent with their winning, then we can defeat them. This strategy was very popular and it's used in business till now, and there is no possible if MACC or SPRM want to use this strategy in investigations, intelligence, and even prosecution in order to track the individual who involved in corruption. So we can see that Sun Tzu used the psychological approach whereby the MACC or SPRM needs to understand or recognize those who involved in this corruption activity.
Assalamualaikum and very good morning. My name is NURUL binti HASLIZAU. My matric number is 205855. Now, I will continue the presentation, which is the practical activity that related to the philosophy that we use. The activity that can be made by school to prevent the corruption is teacher need to be close with their student by using psychology method, seen with the technique used by Sun Tzu to win the war. The psychology method here means the teacher must attract the student attention in educating, telling, and asking them to get knowing about the corruption. The effort in implant good values and good personality towards the student, teacher need to expose and emphasize the student more about the corruption in terms of definition, types, causes, impact, and so on. As we all know, teachers is the closest one with students compared to their parents, since they spend more time at school. Educating them using normal technique as teaching the class might be not effective to them. So, teacher maybe can do something after the class, such as giving them a task like a short drama and giving some prizes to the winner to make them more interesting, while looking their ability in understanding about the corruption. With that, students will enjoy the learning and try to understand more about the corruption by searching to get prepared in their activities. This also provides exposure to the student while searching for the information. By doing this, students will try to get creative to attract their teacher's heart to win. Students nowadays need this kind of activities while learning to avoid them for being bored in the class, feeling sleepy, yet at the same time, this is one of effective way in teaching and to get memorized about something. Next, teacher or school can make campaigns such as Perangi Rasuah to make the student realize the corruption is very harm and part of crimes such as taking drug, but even more which can destroy the country, especially when our leaders doing this. The campaign can convey a good value and in order to fight corruption effectively. we can invite the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission or MACC and the police to give some talks and make some simulation related to the corruption to make the students more clear and understand. They can tell the students the example of corruption and bribe that might be received or offered even they are students. The understanding and trust will be increasing about the corruption since the speakers and demonstrators are coming from the familiar and proud person. The MAC can tell the students more in detail about the punishment will be won to the people who are involved in corruption, which is imprisonment not exceeding 20 years and a fine not less than 5 times the value of the bribe or Rm 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher. The student will be scared to hear that. The campaign can be succeeded with the collaboration from school with other parties such as MACC, police and more. We need to ensure the students avoid practicing this corruption because in the future we do not know what will be happen next since they are the next generation to lead the world. Other than inviting people to talk, school also can add other activity in campaign such as making competition or activities in gaming or explorers about the corruption, drawing about the things related to the corruption, a simple quiz to test their knowledge and giving prize to the winner and others activities to introduce and make them feel close with the corruption. By doing that, it can help students to remember well, be aware about the corruption and will be avoiding them in the future. As when teacher also can ask opinion from their students about the corruption and right. For a while, we know the students already learn it in the class, getting knowledge from the campaign, got information from the police, the MACC, the people out there, seeing advertisement from the television and so on. Now, with all the knowledge that they have gained, it must be something that they will thinking about in their mind, which is their own opinion to voice out. So as a teacher, we need them to voice out their opinion. Let them voice out their opinion and words to us to make them feel they are also right. This is also part in educating students, which encourage them to be brave in talk, giving opinion and stand for their right. They have their right in voice, and by that we as a teacher can collect and take their opinions to find out either they are agree or disagree with the corruption. With doing these activities, teacher can make them feel close and approach the student, especially the students who got feeling the corruption is a good thing to practice. Cannot be denied that our thought might be different with each other, even we are in different ages. Thus, teacher can proceed to the other step by giving counseling in doing next investigation to get know more about the students. Maybe the student have their own reason or problems which can make he or she is thinking the corruption can be practiced even they are still young. They are in still schools. Teacher also can ask for help from the other student about the background of the student or the attitude and behavior of the student in school. Hence, teacher can keep eyes on this student to help the student and fix their way of thinking in terms of psychology, physical and more. This student need to be helped. As a teacher, we need to help this kind of student to ensure they are not get involved with the corruption in the future, which is even worse if we are not handling them wisely from now. So that's all from me. Thank you.
As through the previous slides, we can see that we want the students to learn. After the class, we want students to learn. The first point is that through the class, we hope that students can learn about the bad effects after the of the corporation and in their lives, no matter what the job positions they are in the future, no matter they are the headmasters or they work in the government or not, they can all refuse the corruption. This is what we hope they can learn from this class. And for the second, we want the students to learn that they can realize the consequences and the cost of the correction after receiving the knowledge by this class and from the teacher. So corruption in no matter which country is very bad. It's very heavy illegal behavior. So you're gonna get killed, or otherwise you're gonna get into the jail for many years, and it will influence not only you, also your family, your relatives. This is what the consequences after the corruption. But this is what we want the students to learn. So this is all for today's class, and this is all for our presentation, and I really thanks for your watching.